Hello and welcome to Neurodiverse Airline Review. Today I'll be exploring Ryanair services on a flight from Manchester to Dublin, looking into the accommodations they offer both on the ground and in the air, as well as at their Dublin base. Later I'll be taking the return flight from Dublin to Manchester, providing a chance to experience how Ryanair supports travellers with disabilities in both directions. Stay tuned for hints and tips coming later. I contacted Ryanair about carrying medical baggage, and I was told I need a GP letter confirming my condition and the need for medical items. They also said at check-in they will inspect my bag. Is this a breach of privacy and disability discrimination since other bags aren't checked? Share your thoughts in the comments. Once started in my lanyard, they let me go to the front of the line. Thank you, Ryanair. Security staff are familiar with Sunflower lanyard and will allow passengers wearing one to use a special assistance line. The regular security line had a wait of around 40 minutes, while I was able to pass through a special assistance line in under 5 minutes. Thank you, Manchester Airport Security at Terminal 3. Terminal 3 is quite narrow, which can make it challenging for passengers to move through, especially when navigating around others or obstacles. This can be uncomfortable for those who feel claustrophobic, prefer more personal space, or are suffering from a hidden disability. Don't worry, I'll be sharing hints and tips on how to manage this later on in the video. Just like the security staff, the gate staff are trained to recognise the Sunflower lanyard and allow passengers wearing one to use the priority boarding line. If you or any member of your party does suffer from a hidden disability, be sure to get a Sunflower lanyard either from your airline's check-in desk or from airport customer service. This will make your airport experience much more streamlined, less stress, more pleasure. It will also entitle you to priority check-in, priority boarding and priority security line. Unfortunately, this is normal with Ryanair where you wait in the stairwell for anything up to 30 minutes. Today we waited for 17 minutes and now we're given clearance to actually make our way outside and board the aircraft. So fingers crossed there's no more waiting outside. Despite wearing my Sunflower lanyard and having DPNA, standing for Disabled Passenger Needing Assistance, noted on my booking and boarding pass, no Ryanair staff informed us about the wait in the stairwell or checked if I might struggle or feel anxious in the situation. Sadly, it seems that Ryanair's level of care for passengers with hidden disabilities falls short compared to other airlines who allow you to board the aircraft very early before other passengers so you can get on board, get very comfortable and ready for your flight before you might get overwhelmed with many people boarding. As I get closer to the door, I can feel that cold weather hitting me already. It's a very, very warm 1 degree centigrade here in Manchester, so you feel that nip as soon as you get close to the door or you step outside. I enjoy aviation, I enjoy the smell of aviation fuel, and I love aircraft sounds, so it doesn't bother me, but someone else who is neurodiverse or has a hidden disability who really struggles with loads of background noise, overwhelming smells and loads of things going on at once would struggle with boarding an aircraft in such a manner like this. A few moments ago you might have seen the Airbus A380 just in front of us landing from Dubai. I've never flown with Emirates, but I am due to fly with them in June 25, where I'll be doing a neurodiverse review very similar to today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Then once I've done the Emirates review, you'll be first to be notified that that video is now live on YouTube. Despite Ryanair knowing that I'm neurodiverse, I've got a hidden disability and I might struggle with sound, we were still made to wait outside in a cold 1 degree centigrade for an additional 10 minutes before we were given clearance to board the aircraft. This is not a great experience for anyone with a hidden disability, and sadly Ryanair does not care. They were aware of my disability and other passengers and they still subject us to this delay. Well, the aircraft is warmer than outside, and as I step on board, I can see the member of cabin crew is barely acknowledging any passenger. There's no pleasant hello, which is both not polite or professional. As passengers board, cabin crew are meant to observe passengers who could be useful in an emergency situation. That doesn't appear to be the case today on this Ryanair flight, which is deeply concerning because if we did have an emergency on board and they do require passengers to assist, who are they going to know to contact if they're not observing us on the way? Have you been in a similar situation, and do you feel this is acceptable for a member of cabin crew to be ignoring the passengers as they board, or even failing to see who might be used in an emergency situation? Be sure to share your opinions in the comments below. The passenger manifest included a disability code DPNA next to my name, indicating that I have a neurological disability. However, crew did not approach me at any point during boarding or during the flight today, asking me if I need any additional support or any assistance with the flight or when I landed in Dublin. Well, as we put on stand, it's now the time to look at my review. So prior to departure, I did ask special assistants about getting medical baggage. They were so unhelpful and unsupportive, I'd score them 1 out of 5. Check-in was fantastic, 5 out of 5 all the way there. Boarding, I'd score that 1 out of 5 because we had a 17-minute in the stairwell, 10 minutes outside, and lack of communication. On board, I'd score that 2 out of 5. It was a good flight, but there was actually no communication from the cabin crew. And when I arrived and got off the plane, there was no assistance offered to me either. So again, 1 out of 5. My flight from Manchester to Dublin scored 10 out of 25 available points. I'm going to be doing exactly the same on the way back now to Manchester, and we'll see if Ryanair score any better. I'll be sharing the details of check-in and the security process with you very shortly. When I arrived at the terminal this morning to check my bag in, I found that there was a massive queue at check-in. I had my sunflower lanyard visible, and I was not permitted to be expedited down the line. My lanyard was pretty much invisible to the Ryanair staff. I did approach them and ask for support, but they did decline this. My lanyard wasn't visible at check-in because it didn't give me any additional support. At the boarding gate here, they gave me priority access down the line. Well, I know I'm going to be waiting at the bottom of the stair here. The question is for how long. Security at Terminal 1 was fantastic. They saw my lanyard and they expedited me down the line. And in less than 5 minutes, I'd passed through the security checkpoint and I was then walking my way through the duty-free shop at Dublin. Well, that's the door now open and we've been stood here for 25 minutes. If anyone feels claustrophobic or they need a bit of personal space or they don't really like around people who they don't know, that can be very challenging and overwhelming for them. After being released from the stairwell, we were then permitted to board the aircraft without any further delays. For many neurodiverse travellers, unexpected loud noises and strong smells can be overwhelming. This experience can be avoided if Ryanair use jet bridges instead of requiring all passengers to board outside. It's nice having some background music playing when you're boarding an aircraft and you're waiting for the doors to be closed. However, just like it was at Manchester, when we stepped on board, the cabin crew weren't even paying attention to passengers and they were more bothered about playing with a mobile phone. Do you enjoy airlines playing background music? The disinterested member of crew does have a voice after all. I have actually heard them talking when they were passing through the cabin with the drinks trolley. Before we left Dublin, they took orders after making an announcement saying press your call button if you want to order any drinks or refreshments on this short flight. As they came through the cabin with the trolley, I did hear her speak to passengers who were having items delivered that they ordered in Dublin. So it's not a voiceless airline. On 2 separate Ryanair flights, I found the crew now to be not polite and not professional. Now, that doesn't really give me much faith in the airline. I like to see how crew perform during a flight. If crew are very interested in passengers, very customer focused, it gives me faith in the airline. And sadly, I don't have that with Ryanair over these 2 experiences. As a neurodiverse traveller, these are important to me, and sadly I cannot recommend Ryanair as being a very great airline for neurodiverse travellers. Are you neurodiverse? Are these important to you like they are to me? Be sure to share your opinion in the comments below. Don't forget to stay tuned till the end of this review, where I will be sharing some hints and tips that are designed to make your travelling more comfortable. Our outbound flight from Manchester to Dublin scored 10 out of a possible 25 points. Now it's time to have a look at our return flight. So the special assistants asking for medical baggage in advance of travel, that's still the same, that remains a 1. Check-in at Dublin was very poor, I'd score them 1 out of 5. Boarding at Dublin, I'd scored 2. We did have the wait in the stairwell, however we didn't have to wait outside the aircraft, we were allowed to get on board. On board the aircraft, I'd scored at 2. The flight overall was fine, but the cabin crew were pretty much voiceless and didn't want to talk or check if you needed any additional support. And the arrival experience at Manchester, I wasn't offered any support or assistance by anyone from Ryanair. Putting the numbers together gives my inbound flight a total score of 7 points. Put that together with my outbound score of 10. That means over 2 flights out of a possible 50 points, Ryanair have scored 17, which is a very low score indeed. Thank you for watching the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm now going to share some travel hints and tips with you that I hope help you out next time you travel. Many neurodiverse travellers prefer researching the plane they're flying on. It helps familiarise themselves with the aircraft layout in advance of travel. Knowing the aircraft provides travellers the ability to take virtual tours or watch videos on YouTube, locating the exits, lavatories, overhead storage, and helpful for visualising space ahead of flight, reducing travel anxiety. Contact your airline and add DPNA to your booking. Request medical seating and any medical baggage you require. Advise any allergies or special dietary requirements and any airport or in-the-air support that you might require. Research the airport you're flying to and from and familiarise yourself with the layout, the eateries, lavatories, shops and quiet spaces. The airport website will offer interactive maps and photos, and YouTube is great to view videos of any worldwide airport. Plan for travel day and pack a sensory tool bag. It could include fidget toys, stress balls, maybe something you like to suck on, maybe something you like to feel. Create a travel day plan from home to your final destination. Plan for travel day clothing. Do you prefer something tight or something loose? Plan your transport and frequent breaks, and consider how you'll entertain yourself on board your flight. Follow your travel day plan. Avoid energy and sugary drinks. Avoid fatty foods and grease. Stay calm, practice your breathing and sensory strategies, and leave in plenty time and always plan for delays. Using sensory strategies on travel day can help you becoming overwhelmed. Start by rubbing your fingers, rubbing your arms or your legs. Get someone to rub your shoulder or your back. Deep pressure massage works really well. Practice your deep breathing. Listen to a podcast or listen to some calming music like a piano playing. Oral stimulation, you might want to suck on a sweet, chew on a sweet, or chew on a chew buddy. Utilise your comfort and your fidget items, and if you've got a weighted blanket or a weighted item, even better. And lastly, find quiet spaces to de-stress. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this flight review very useful and the strategies that you can use next time you travel. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next review.